So this is basically the structure. We have what we call quarters, 10-week periods. We have 6 core modules, then we have optional modules, again optional modules, and we have the thesis semester. Well, if you look at the core modules, the first one is about what we call the modern state. What is government about nowadays? What is the modern state about? Then we look at European integration. Then we look specifically at policy analysis, design, implementation. Then we look at public and private cooperation between the public and the private sector. The 5th module is on public management, and then finally we have a core module on comparative public governance. Then we have the optional modules which make up the tracks. So we have a track on global and European governance, and we have a track on subnational governance. And here you have, again, some modules that you may follow, internship or an exchange program. Basically, it's up to you what you do in this part of the program. And then finally, the thesis semester. As I said, projects are very important. They are the vehicle of the modules. What you can see here are examples of the projects that we use in the various modules. For instance, in the first module, the modern state, we have a project where you have to write a constitution. And the idea is that you take in mind a region that wants to become a state. Think about Flanders in Belgium, or Scotland in the UK, or Catalonia in Spain. And suppose that that region would become a state, well, it needs a constitution. And you need to write that constitution. And when you do so, you start thinking about the political and legal basis of the modern state. Something similar for the second module, about European integration, about globalization. There, the project theme is immigration. And the assignment is to write a policy advice for an EU commissioner on issues of immigration. So I'm not going to read out all the project themes. You can see that here for yourself. Okay, the thesis semester, the last part of the program. Important because it is sort of the crown on your work, you could say. It is about the research in the thesis, but it is about more than that. It's also about getting additional training in doing research and getting additional training in all kinds of academic skills. It is about orientation on the labor market. So we will train you and help you with how to write a CV, how to use social media, for instance, to find a job. And then we have, let's say, the most important part, that is the research and the thesis that you have to write. This is individual work. It's not group work, like in most modules. The thesis is individual. It will be done under supervision by the teacher. It could be that you cooperate under supervision of that teacher in so-called student circles of students that are all dealing with more or less the same topic or the same policy area. These topics are linked to ongoing research that is done here at the faculty, but there's a large variety of subjects. Then research methods. I mentioned that one of the characteristics of the program is that we pay a lot of attention to research methods, and that means that throughout these modules, in every module, we will tackle a specific part of these research methods. We start with the basics, logic, ethics of science, how to do research, and then we move on to what is a theory, how can you measure things, how can you design research, how can you collect data, and of course how can you do all kinds of statistical tests. Something similar goes for the professional and academic skills, like informational skills, writing skills, debating skills, presenting, negotiation, and so on and so on. These are all trained also during the modules, and What you do is that throughout the program you build yourself a portfolio so that at the end of the program you can show to your future employer, this is what I have done and these are the skills that I have acquired. And of course, when it comes to these skills, it's important that we have a strong link with practice. That means that we organize excursions, that we invite people for guest lectures, and so on and so on. Then excellence. We have a program which is called the STAR program. And that STAR program is meant for students that excel, that do very well. They will get the opportunity to work together in special groups made up of excellent students, and they will get additional and more challenging work to do as a group. And in some cases also additional coursework. It's important to mention because it means that we take into account, let's say, the level of the students. So we're not simply going, let's say, for the average level, but we also pay attention to students that are obviously and clearly above average. Careers prospects, we will tell you a bit more about that at the end of the program, but it's good to mention that once you have done a bachelor program, you are not really ready to go on the labor market. What you need to do is to get a master degree as well. So what happens very often is that people follow a master program after their bachelor program. Sometimes they may take half a year off or 1 year off, maybe go on an internship or whatever, but in the end the idea is that your whole study career consists of a bachelor program and a master program. You can do a master program here at the University of Twente, but also at another university. If you want to do it here, we have a master in European Studies. 1 year master can be made into a 2 year master because we have a cooperation agreement with Münster, where you can get 2 diplomas. You get a diploma from Twente and a diploma from Münster. And we have a master program in public administration, but there are plenty of other new opportunities. And very often what we see is that people follow a bachelor program at one university and then they move over to another university to follow a master program. That's the whole idea actually of the bachelor-master model.